I'm laughing already. What is going on, Haunt Nation?
You're laughing. They're not the ones that wasted how many hours of their life with this one.
Well, luckily they were both short. What's going on, Haunt Nation? I'm Ant.
See?
And we are coming to you to talk about. We contemplated.
Yeah.
Do we do two separate reviews? Do we do one review with both? Same series of movie. So
the Dead Eye Willem Dafoe doll.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dead Eye Willem Dafoe doll, the Robert series. Yeah, we're back with Robert. So
thankfully we finished the series for now.
Yeah, I think there's a total of 5 movies.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we
So
are.
this was The Curse of Robert and Robert Reborn.
Okay. Yeah, I have a real problem getting these fucking names
So,
straight.
yeah. I mean,
which one's
granted,
which.
it doesn't really matter.
So let's just get right into it and start with The Curse of Robert, which was probably the worst of the Robert films.
I'm going to say the one in the museum was worse.
I'm going to tell you that I disagree, and
Really?
I'll tell you why. Yeah, and I will tell you why, because they were both horribly acted.
Yeah.
This one takes place right after the last one. Like, he's on the train.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on the train. However, the first 30 or 40 minutes of the movie has nothing to do with him being on the fucking train.
Right.
Or him at all.
Right. Or Robert the doll.
Right. So the first 30 or 40 minutes of the movie actually takes us back to before Robert the doll and the origin of the book.
Right.
Which didn't even give us the real origin of the book. It's just this German dude has the book.
Right.
And his wife, and the Nazis want the book.
Right.
You know, so this is before the girl runs away with the book.
Right. Way before.
Right. She doesn't even exist.
Mm-hmm.
So this is well before that, and so we get to see the origin of the book, and it's really slow.
Yeah.
It's really, really slow and not very interesting. It's fairly badly acted. Everyone's got the bad German accents. You know, it's just... Yeah. So by the time we actually catch up with the doll maker on the train, we're almost halfway through this hour and 20-minute movie.
Right. Which was its only saving grace, mind you, being 80 minutes long.
That it was 80 minutes long, and the makeup for him is not much better than it was in the last films.
They just use less silly putty.
Yeah. So it's not much better.
No.
I'm just like I'm having a problem putting cohesive thoughts for this film together.
Well, so were they apparently.
Yeah. My biggest gripe about the film is it's a Robert film, and what did we get? 1 minute of screen time of
Robert the doll. Yeah.
In the whole fucking film.
See, the motherfucker's getting an ego. He's charging more. They can't afford to pay him for more.
So yeah, that was my biggest gripe about it. Is it was more like a bad espionage.
Well,
movie.
that's the thing. They tried to make it too serious, and they just couldn't hit that mark.
Yeah, and the fight sequence was poorly. There was a fight sequence that was extremely poorly choreographed.
Yeah.
They decided rather than real special effects, they were going to use the digital CGI blood effects, which were horrible.
Like the stock Adobe Premiere blood spatter that kind of was reminiscent of when you shot something in Doom in the 90s. You know, you saw the blood.
Yeah, so that movie really... And which one was that?
That was The Curse of Robert.
The Curse of Robert. So on every level, my least favorite of the Robert films, half a star maybe.
Yeah.
From me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't go.
We weren't even watching it that late.
No, and I'm not gonna even challenge a mark on that, because honestly, it's been less than 12 hours and I can't remember.
You can't remember the movie, right?
Yeah.
It was just that bad. There was nothing memorable about it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I remember at the beginning, the book, apparently this guy had written the book.
Right.
Knew of its power. you know.
Again, the Nazis wanted to buy it from him.
Right.
But again, how are you going to trust the Nazis not to kill you anyhow? Which, it was an entire cliche.
Any one of these governments, you have an item of
incredible value,
incredible power, and they're going to make you a deal where they'll buy it from you.
Yeah, of course they will.
Right. Yeah. They're not just going to take it.
No, not at all.
Especially like a socialist, fascist regime.
Yeah.
Regime, communist regime. No,
right.
They're going to give you money.
No, because it's the party of acceptance and unity.
Yeah. Right. So, yeah, that was the first one. So the second one, we'll go a little bit more in depth with. That was, what was the name of that?
Robert Reborn.
Robert Reborn. So
that's why I'm saying the next one's got to be Robert X in space.
Again, I don't know how Robert was reborn because Robert didn't die in that past movie.
Right.
Right. Didn't die in that past movie. So that one we just talked about. In the beginning, a little confusing also because in the beginning they're showing clips from the older movies with Robert, killing people in the museum or whatever, and I'm like,
it hasn't happened yet.
And it hasn't happened
timeline,
yet. But okay, this one, then Robert Reborn, starts out with another. Well, actually, let's give a little bit of kudos to the last film because it did give you a little background on the toy maker himself.
Okay.
Remember, it had
It had the pull of La Llorona, the
Right.
wife drowned the two little kids
right.
and shit.
So
yeah.
why he's alone and whatnot. But yeah, that's about all the credit it's getting.
Yeah.
So then this one, Robert Reborn, Robert never died, so I don't know why he would be reborn. For some reason, our German toy maker, who was leaving Germany via train in the first one, and they were trying to stop him.
Went to another socialist communist country.
Went to a completely communist country. Not
Germany. USSR.
Germany was socialist in the 40s. The USSR was
completely communist.
Right. Yeah. So you go from an oppressive regime to just probably a little more oppressive regime. Where Uncle Joe Stalin.
Yep.
Had no problem killing tens of billions of his own people. But I digress. So yeah, he chose to go to Russia.
Yeah.
To the USSR, right? And
because he'll be safe there.
And he won't stick out. Right. A guy with a heavy ass German accent
and
not going to stick out.
Somebody look like Lemony Snicket and shit
in the first place. 1951. So this movie I actually took a little more offense to in some things. Like there's a scene. I believe it's the church? Is it the church in Moscow that the plane flew over?
The Kremlin. No, it was the Kremlin that they. Yeah.
So yeah, there's an actual jet, like a passenger jet,
that looked pretty goddamn new.
Yeah, like a 2-engine passenger jet, 747 type. The fuck did I just see? I thought I saw something moving in the reflection, but and I'm like, I don't know that they had those in 1951.
Right.
Because it plainly says 1951.
Right.
I'm like, I really don't know that they had passenger aircraft with jet engines in 1951. I know they did in the 60s.
Right.
I think they started in the late 1950s. Because you remember, World War II was, the 1940s, right? It ended maybe, 44?
Mm-hmm.
And, not that I'm, like the biggest history buff, but the jet engine was like a really new thing.
Right.
Then. Like, it wasn't even incorporated into fighter aircraft or anything at that point.
Right.
Because that would have really turned the tide of the war.
Hell yeah.
So we're talking about 6 or 7 years. The idea to go from prop planes for, weapons of war to passenger jets, made no sense. And it was clearly a jet. It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't a prop plane.
And it was also pretty clear stock footage.
Yeah. So we got to see that a couple times. We got to see a very new looking master combination padlock.
Yeah.
Very new looking. I believe back then, if they did exist in the 50s, which I'm sure they did, combination locks have been around for a long time. I think they were made of copper.
Yeah.
and this definitely wasn't copper. It was
Oh no, this had chrome with the black face, like I just bought from my gym locker.
And you could see it said
like,
Master over the top.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, all right. And the book was completely different. So the book again comes into play.
23 to the right, 4 to the left.
So yeah, and the book was completely different. They didn't even bother
in the same movie.
That's true.
It was three different fucking books.
So in the other movie that we just gave a scathing review of, in the other movie it was a thin brown
leather
book, right? In this one, it looked like
the Necronomicon without the face on the front.
Right. It looked like somebody just took a library book. It was a shorter,
like an Encyclopedia Britannica,
thicker book
from the 80s. Yeah.
And then later, I don't know where the chain of custody for their props is.
Yeah.
In this, but later when they're in England, the book it's got like a scroll work around the outside of the cover.
Yeah. And
I think it was even a different color than the other one. It's just
like Hobbit runes and shit going on.
I'm like, I don't understand that. So this one I actually liked a bit more because we're just completely shitting on it anyway.
Yeah.
But here's our toy maker again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's got three dolls that are all alive. He's got Robert Kalishnikov, who has twin machine guns for arms.
Yeah, it looked like you got him out of CVS.
Yeah, and then here's another thing, man. Come on, guys. Come on, man. If you're gonna have one of your characters have machine guns for arms, take the fucking orange caps off the end of the machine gun. I mean, really, when you said looked like you went to CVS and just bought them, like they ran to the local toy store. Like they didn't bother painting the end black.
No.
Like this is the 1950s. First of all, real guns don't have orange things covering the ends of them.
Right.
Even toy guns, up until about 15, 20 years ago,
didn't
have
until everybody got
things.
all soft and shit.
Right. You know, and kids kept getting shot because people would actually carry toy guns around with them, and then pretend they were real.
Right.
Sometimes try to rob a store with them and then get shot
because,
and then somebody'd complain because, well, why'd you shoot him? He had a toy gun. Oh,
well,
I don't care what you're pointing a fucking gun at me. I don't know if it's a toy.
Right.
You're gonna get shot. So yeah, that was really extra. And then they had the female Cyclops
with the Freddy Krueger hand.
Right, the one Freddy Krueger hand. And I think I didn't want to go back, but I'm pretty sure she had 4 blades.
And only 3 fingers?
But no, I think she had 4 fingers.
Did she?
Yeah, but I think at the end of the movie she
was
missing
blades.
one of them. Right.
Yeah.
So one of them probably fell off, and they just
fucking
nobody's gonna notice.
Yeah.
I noticed. I think I noticed. I really didn't want to go back and rewatch it. Try to find her again, and So again, he's got multiple dolls. Now the Russian government is onto him and looking for him.
Only because Stalin was dying.
This is true.
Right, so Stalin was dying. They hear of the powers that this book has, and they figure they could get the toy maker to do the enchantment on Stalin, so that he doesn't die of whatever terminal illness.
Well, to be fair, they didn't even think about that. They, and now the digital effects are gone. By the way, now when they shoot somebody, you just hear a really low pop,
yeah,
and then they just throw themselves on the floor.
Right.
There's no blood. There's no
right.
There's no squib. There's no nothing. It's just you just hear a pop, and they throw themselves on the floor.
Right.
We don't even have the digital blood anymore.
Right.
The budget got lower.
Yeah.
Either that, or we got more airtime for the dolls. They had to pay them.
Yeah. Yep.
Robin and friends.
Robin and friends had to get paid more. Their rate went up.
I swear, if they ever do a Robert film where Robert actually speaks, they've got to get Willem Dafoe to do the voice.
Oh, hell yeah.
Spend the money. Please spend the money and get Willem Dafoe to do the voice.
Yep.
And he always has Robert the doll always has that creepy smiling.
Yep. And Dead-Eye Willem Dafoe. Which is funny because one of the only sets in the movie is the toy maker's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker's got glass eyes everywhere. And still can't fix Dead-Eye Willem Dafoe.
Look at me messing with his Yeah, still can't give him a good fucking eye.
Yep. Well, you know what? But you know what though? High budget movies do that shit too. I know. I don't want to digress too much, but Black Panther. right? Apparently Wakanda's supposed to be the most sophisticated, medically advanced, right? But they still couldn't fix Forrest Whitaker eye.
That's true. He's just like...
He just still... Right? So, I know that it's different, but what I'm saying is, it's just suspension of disbelief here. It's like, you got a toy maker, got the fucking world of dolls, parts on his table, got all these glass eyes, and you still got Deadeye Willem Dafoe as the main character. It's like, this is your main doll. This is your... He calls him his son.
Right. This is your son. This is your child.
Unless you want to treat him like the son you keep in the shed,
Maybe he asked him, like, Robert, do you want a new eye? He's like, no. Like, I'm cool like this.
Menacing.
I'm cool like this. Give me an eye patch. Fucking make him look like Dan Crenshaw. Fucking eye patch. And no, we like Dan Crenshaw. We're not just ragging on him.
But yeah.
Fucking patriot, that man.
Yes.
And a badass. A fucking Navy SEAL badass.
Yep.
So this movie starts out with a German woman and a British husband,
abusive husband,
and a British kid about 10 years old
with Robert
holding Robert the doll. And I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Where did this come from? How did this happen?
Right.
And it's not the people from the first movie.
Mm-mm.
It's not anyone that's in the series, and we never come back to that.
Right.
We never come back to that. That is so fucking obnoxious.
Yeah.
I really... Lewis! Yeah, I know. Completely wrong, but it's still funny. So, just in case you're wondering, I live out in a fairly rural area. We're not in a city. I don't know why they've got the car alarm on. And if your car is in front of your house with your alarm on...
You should be hearing that horse shit.
Everyone is hearing it.
Yeah.
Because this house is no closer than, maybe 500 yards? Wherever this car is, they're not close. And it's obnoxious. So yeah, we never come back to... There we go.
Yeah.
We never come back to these people, this doll, who they are, how the kids got the doll, whatever happened to the doll maker. So,
well, because the original idea that I had got squashed in the next scene. Because the idea I had is basically this abusive husband hits the mother, so the kid runs outside with Robert. Right. So the father goes and chases the kid outside. I'm sorry. Right.
I'll never do it again.
Right. And the kid's, I hate you.
Right.
I hope you die.
Right.
So then the father gives him a fucking backhand. Apparently, this motherfucker must be like One Punch Man, right? Because I've never seen somebody die from just a backhand.
And there's blood on the kid's head.
Yeah, like
so he just split his fucking skull.
One Punch Man. Right?
He split his skull.
So, and then you see the shot of, Deadeye Willem Dafoe, just right next to the dead kid's face, right? Like right next to his face, and they're panning out. So,
and the kid's name was
Robert.
Robert.
Right now, I thought to the real life Robert story where they think that the doll was possessed by the kid who was murdered. So I said, okay, Robert Reborn. Maybe that's where they're going to go with this, where that's how the kid's spirit's so vengeful,
right,
that he's going to possess the doll.
Yep.
But then in the next scene is this old Jiminy Snicket.
Lemony Snicket.
Yeah, him too.
Let's see. This guy's got a series of unfortunate events in his
life.
We're fucking sure.
And he's looking at this motherfucker going, and I will name you Robert.
Right.
So it don't make any fucking sense.
So along the whole thing, we've gotten the idea that he made the doll.
Right.
And he possessed the doll.
And named it.
Right. And then, he definitely possessed the doll in the other movie where the girl brought him the book.
Right.
Because then the doll was, getting violent towards her.
Right.
And then she gave him up to the Nazis, right?
Right.
So, yeah,
that didn't end well for her either.
No. It makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all.
Mm-mm.
So
that blew my theory out of water really quick.
yeah. So that's just I have no idea.
Yep.
But long story short, who would ever believe that the Russians figure out, that he's possessing his dolls, and then they connect the dots that, hey, this is the guy
that could save Stalin's life.
Right, that was in Germany with this book, that everybody was looking for, that the Nazis were looking for and the British were looking for.
Right.
To try to get him out of the country, and we could save Stalin's life. We'll bring the book and we'll hit him with a spell. So apparently
make this bastard
this movie actually does confirm that this guy, who it's supposed to be, in the 2012 plus year, who was already old as fuck in 1940,
right, was immortal.
Is immortal.
Right.
So they do show us that much, that he has somehow used something in the book to make himself immortal.
Right. And the last scene is basically telling you, we're making another one of these.
Because the last scene, he has made it to London, made it to England, and now the British government realizes
who he is,
and that he's the guy that had the book that they sent their agent to come get, and
right.
And then there's this whole speech that this guy's given to the wall about good guys and bad guys, and I'm just sitting there looking at you like, the fuck is going on?
Yep.
And that's basically it.
They had a great Michael Myers resurrection.
Oh yeah, saw that coming. Yeah, the sits up
like
Undertaker,
under the
Undertaker,
sheet, right?
And then the head turn. When he sat up, I'm like, oh, the sheet. He's got to sit up.
Nope,
and he does it.
Where's the head turn?
Where's the head turn? And there comes the head turn. So yeah, just another really not great film. At least this one, I will say, at least we got to see. That's my favorite part of these films, is just the calling it puppeteering. Does puppeteering a disservice?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just somebody off screen just turning the doll like this.
Yeah.
Maybe throwing a little doll hand up that has a knife in it.
Yeah, Grover would definitely not approve.
No,
not slice.
The people that work on Sesame Street would definitely be pissed at
Yep.
us calling that
puppetry. Yeah,
puppeteering.
Yeah, we know better puppetry than they do.
It's true.
Start a fire, friendy. Speaking of starting a fire, it's cold as fuck, so we're gonna probably turn the fire on to finish these. Now, what do we got? One of the best Gurkhas that I've had.
Yeah,
Gurkha Ghost. Yep.
Yeah, Gurkhas are
very hit or miss, and a lot.
We usually do start out by telling people what we're smoking.
Right. That's why I kind of
yeah
threw that in. A lot of people shit on Gurkha, but that's just because the quality is they have complete shit Gurkhas, but then they actually have really good ones. So Gurkha Ghost and the Black Dragon, too.
Yep. Black Dragons are definitely one of my favorites.
Yep.
And they're just impossible to find.
Yeah. So with that being said, the Robert series is not impossible to find, especially if you have Amazon Prime.
It's very easy to find.
Very easy to find. And you could have an entire weekend of enjoyment with
that's another complaint about Amazon Prime. Let's just say that we type in Robert,
right,
and we've still got to sort through a bunch of movies to find rather than the Robert movies being stacked together.
Right, they're like,
and then of course you have the same movie that's on free with Prime,
and then when you pay
for it, and I really don't understand. Then the search bar just completely goes, we go
Jesus
again.
God Almighty, Astro.
There we go again. Somebody forgot they live out in rural America.
Yeah.
So now that just derailed my fucking train of thought
completely. Amazon Prime.
Oh yeah, just once, even if you click on the free to me thing, once you go to the search bar, that just completely wipes that out anyway. But yeah, free on Amazon Prime. So the only thing you have to waste is your time.
Yeah.
Not any money.
Nope.
And yeah, you can see all of these fantastic films, which they've basically set up the sequel. Now I'm guessing maybe the part in the beginning with the woman and the
that'll
husband.
come back.
Yeah, maybe that'll
fuck up a Robert in Space movie though,
you know,
that I wanted to see.
like somehow he loses Robert and these people get a hold of him or something. I don't know.
See, but hold on now. We gotta backtrack just a little bit before we end this, because Curse of Robert, right? The real shittiest one, right? Arguably, right? Ended in 2012 with the sister of the toy maker stealing Robert the doll.
Oh, that's true.
And then Robert Reborn had absolutely nothing to do with it.
But see that one, no, that I understood though, because it shows her going to him.
Right.
He's apparently in America at this point.
Right.
Working on his Volkswagen.
Right.
And she comes up and she says, "Oh no, not in America. He's in
Britain.
He's in Britain,
England,
because that's where the first movies take place."
Right.
And the sister, who was the
caretaker,
aide, the
maid,
says that these people aren't being nice to her because basically
they're
she was
no
going
treating
senile.
me.
Right, she was going senile.
Right, they're not treating me right.
And then she asks for the book so that she can
Fuck
possess
with him,
something
yeah.
and fuck with them. He won't give it to her.
So she
And
steals
then
Robert.
Robert ends up missing, and you see her walking away. So that's basically just setting up how she got the doll to those people.
Which, now, I know this is going to take us down a rabbit hole, but how in fuck's name is that his sister when he was like born in 1910?
Yeah, again.
And this is 2012.
Unless he granted her immortality at
too.
some point too.
Yeah.
But there's no mention of a sister or any real family or anything
Right.
throughout most of the series. Yeah, there's just so many holes.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking for real consistency. I'm okay with suspension of disbelief. But when things are like kind of in your face.
Right. You can't really deny.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up, because the movies were tiresome, and I
Yeah.
really don't want this review of these tiresome movies to be any more
Yeah.
fucking tiresome than it already is.
So on the bright side, stay tuned, because next time we are going to be reviewing Santa's Sleigh at Brighton Asylum.
Yes.
So we're looking forward to that.
Right.
If anybody is in the area, come haunt with us.
Yeah.
We already put the event up.
Yep.
Should be a good time.
And we just to put it out there, we chose that one for scheduling purposes, as well as if we're going to do, if we have a choice of things to do, we're going to do the place that we actually enjoyed the most.
Right.
And that was definitely one of our top haunts this year.
Yep. Not to say that if you had the night off, we would have taken a trip to Dent.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Absolutely. But Dent was right up there with Brighton. There was both 9.5s.
Absolutely.
And so look forward to that. Look forward to seeing you all there, like we did. Met some new friends at 13th Hour.
Absolutely.
So hopefully we'll run into them at Santa Sleigh.
That'd be cool.
And
so yeah, the event is up on the Facebook page with the time.
Yep.
Time, date, and place. So
till then, everybody,
it won't be hard to find.
Yeah.
All right.
Take care.
See ya. You keep forgetting to plug your shit.
That's all right.